Okay. So for today, I'm in the buying mood. I think we've got enough people that we can try the bounce, and we'll see where money continues to flow. The breadth yesterday was actually pretty good, and I've been telling you guys for a while that we need these we need these two to converge more together because they're too far apart, meaning the Mag 7 and everyone else. And so while I am willing to bounce and try plays like Nvidia down here, just got to be really careful, um, and don't fight it if it goes against you. Nvidia could easily go to 100, right? Or it could easily go to 130, and so just don't if you're not good at stopping out, it's hard catching bottoms. But if you're good at stopping out, it's not hard. Yeah. Right. So yesterday I told you guys, that 120 area was worth a shot. I I don't know if Nvidia is going to pull back and close this gap, or if it's just gonna go. But where it is now, I'm not going to be a buyer. I'll play and add to this as day goes along, but I'm going to kind of wait at open. Um, some of the other names that I'm watching, QUBT, that's one of Nate's flights. It had some news today. Let's see if it gets any flow. Um, RCL had a good earnings report, and they're up this morning. Here is their normal earnings move. They their earnings move is about 73%, opening gap 64%. So this is normal. Got about 50-50 drift. So, if you wanted to try to buy a dip or something like this on RCL, um, maybe it gives you a 3 to 4% dip. You wanted to try to buy it. I think that's doable. Twillo and Netflix on watch as well. They had the good earnings. CRM, I'm watching as well because they they are a winner from this, and they're people jumped on them yesterday. Think of it kind of like a second day play. Acro is a second day play I'm watching. So I'm watching a lot. We'll see if there's anything that we take. But any questions before the market opens? Love you, sweetie. Am I dropping in and out when I speak for you guys? Sorry about that. Sounds good. Okay. I'm gonna go a little bit bigger today. All right. So yesterday I was kind of putting the toes in the water and trying things out, but I'm willing to trade a little bit bigger today than I was yesterday. Love you, buddy. Good luck today. Good luck today. My boys got a game today, so all right, we got 1 minute here. Okay, I'm buying PLTR straight out the gate. All right, if you're a scalper, this this level's a profit target, right? Um, but what I really want to capture is this move all the way to 78. Anybody still holding any Apple from yesterday? I'm actually willing to add to PLTR if it comes into 74. But even though I've taken profits on this first little bit, I'm still going to try it to absorb a little bit. My sound's not clear for you either. Um, yeah, I'm not sure. Excellent for you guys. Yeah, I'm not sure why a couple people aren't getting the sound, but all right. So if anybody was playing Nvidia, right, this is why I sell on gap ups so that I can try to rebuy. And I have no idea if today is going to be a day where Nvidia gets its bounce, but I'm giving it a shot. Okay, so the goal here for me is I actually want to hold some into and then over earnings if I make enough money. Um, so if you wanted to play like you want to play something on February 28th, you know that's the earnings series. So I'll try to scalp some before that day, and then try to keep some uh, You know what I mean? Like I'll buy and sell the maybe next week's versus buying and selling February 28th. But the goal here, what I want to try to do is buy some February 28th and see if I can make enough money where I can take a 50% hit and it be okay. I hope that makes sense. Now, I want to add to Apple, but I'm kind of waiting here. Let's see if it can reject this 235 area and then give us a little hold on a retest back. Oh, you guys hear my dog snoring? Super loud. Sorry. All right, video coming into its gap flow. I'm going for next week's 120s on Nvidia, and I'm buying half size here, and I'll add again as it comes into the lower levels down here, and I'll use the lows as a stop. Yeah, I think everybody's kind of on board that they're a pause. So this Nvidia, this 120 buy down here, you know, I- I'm buying basically 30 options of it, which is kind of a medium uh, buy for me, and then I'll buy another 30 down here. So it's not like big, it's not just barely touching the water. It's going medium size here. And Meta is just taking off. So Meta, in that article you'll read, that guy thinks Meta's probably the biggest winner of all of this. And maybe that's why they're going. Um, on Nvidia, I'm buying the options. On PLTR, I'm in the stock. If you want to play some options on PLTR, they got earnings next next Monday. Is that right? Um, if you wanted if you wanted cheap options, you'd have to go for this week's. I'd go. I'd probably go 77s, 76, 78, somewhere around there. Here, let's see if we can buy this breakout and add to our position here. The PLTR, we have a failed breakout here. So what I'm going to do on this ad, like this buying of the breakout, I'm actually going to add again on this, but this is going to be a separate trade. Does that make sense? Like got one out the gate. And I know it may seem redundant to stop out of this trade and then add again as it breaks down. So like I have to stop out of this trade now, and it's the next ad for me on PLTR is going to be down here. So I still have the initial trade, but this breakout buy I have to get out of. It's broken the rules for the breakout. Straight down on NVIDIA. Remember, risk is the lows here. So the first thing that we're going to do is I don't have a hard stop in on this. But if we get stopped out, we just look for a failed breakdown and a reclaim. But again, I'm not going to fight this because this thing could get to 100 real quick. $74.15 is this add point down here on PLTR for me. I'm adding on NVIDIA. So this is like your final ad before you stop out. So it has officially cracked the low. The low is 116.70. I haven't stopped out yet. I'm going to give it like a minute or two to see if it can reclaim it. And if it flushes, then I'll take the loss. Missed RCL. I think is it running this morning? Still. These are a little bit harder to catch, right? Like it just doesn't dip at all; it just rips. Um, when you play things like this, it's the way that I do it that allow me to chase is I'll buy like a quarter to a third size, and then if it uh, if it does just go, you're in it. But if it doesn't, you're allowed the ads on whatever you think a pullback might be. Just got the ad on PLTR. And again, these shares, it's easy to scalp shares, right? So, you're up 75 cents on these shares. What this allows you to do now is your buys are here and here, right? So 74, 75.50. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sell these down here for, 75-cent gain. And so now my cost basis for this one is more in the middle, like right here, right? So 75.50 minus 75 cents. So there's your cost basis now. Does that make sense? And on NVIDIA, yes. Thank you for that. Yeah. Yep. The bounce play, same idea. Um, well, yeah, Kay, it's super high volume, right? Like a lot of volume on NVIDIA. And you know, what does that mean? Whenever I tell you guys about the justice scale, right? When you're trying to balance out weight and stuff like that, it's highly important to understand, you know, that this move yesterday, like this candle yesterday, is much more important than the other candles that are only 200 million. Right? You got 815 million. That candle's worth 4 days of trading. Yeah. So what we want to see on Nvidia, right? We love this failed breakdown. If if Nvidia can push up to this red to green line, right, and push above that, a buyback of the red to green line is a 100% go. What we don't know is if it's going to have the strength to just do that or not. Otherwise, your risk should now be the low of this candle. So, like, is it does it need to pull back and do some type of double bottom, or does it have the strength to push up here and create like a little inverted head and shoulders type pattern? Does that make sense? And you never know, but the main thing is we need risk under control now, being down here, and we wait for the patterns to develop. And it's similar to PLTR. It's like, all right, what do we need here off this base from yesterday? Do we need a double bottom? Do we need a push up and a pull back to create kind of that V look? I would say on PLTR, you probably need more of a double bottom. NVIDIA does have the ability to just break above and go. So I think it would be more likely to do that than PLTR, but I think it would be healthier if it did not. Kev J, yeah, I mean it depends. Like there's a bunch of different ways to determine value. Um, but what I agree with what you're saying is I don't think Nvidia is overpriced. You guys see Reddit this morning? I stopped out of the one piece that I was carrying at Gap Close yesterday. because it had actually broken and I was just getting out. But man, good, good shoot up here. Yeah, prefer not to speak about Reddit, right? Yeah. Netflix, it's time to throw in the towel. Let's check it out. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Nate's. I'm guessing Nate's in this. That's why you guys are asking. Um, be quite honest with you, if I was in Netflix, I don't know what you're in, and I don't know what you're playing, or if it's this week's. Like to me, I think Netflix is worth a shot down here around 9:55, 9:53. If it came into this level, I would be a buyer, but I don't know what you guys are playing or not playing. You know what I mean? But your next support zone is right here. All right, so we've gotten our little bounces right, and I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen next. Um, all right, I'm taking off 5077 calls here on PLTR, 165. So now what that does is it allows me. What was my video going? Let's go. Let's go, NVIDIA. I'll put in VNet. Whoops, NVIDIA. Yeah. I mean, so I'm not going to buy this pullback to here. Um, right. This isn't a super clean red to green right now. Yeah. See, so right. Yeah. Like kind of like you're testing the waters here. So like I don't want to buy that quite yet. Let's let it prove itself that it's going to hold here. Amazon went red to green and it's blasting off nicely. The Qs have opened it with a gap up, closed it, went well below it, and now is right back to yesterday's close. So let's start checking the flow of some of these options and see if we've got anything that stands out. CVS, huh? Somebody's buying some CVS 2026. Interesting. I just can't play CVS. Like I've looked at CVS as a value play, and it fits a lot of the categories. I just can't do it. Um, it is at 2.6 mil. Still more flow bearish than normal. Boeing. So Boeing's got a little bit of flow. So they did 225. So they did. So they're actually relatively short term. Next month on Boeing. They had earnings today. Um, so I'm going to add Boeing to the watch list here. Keep track. If Maybe we play it as a second day play tomorrow. Yeah, right. Their paper bill must CVS's paper bill must be like 10 times higher than it needs to be because every time you get a receipt, it's like dragging on the floor. It's crazy. Um, so fun. Yeah, I don't see much on flow. Okay. Now CRM is one that I'd be willing to play as an open range break with shares. I'd scalp it about medium size. I was hoping for a little gap down on this one today so we could just buy it, but it didn't give it to us. All right, so Nvidia is starting to build those legs, right? Now we're getting some legs. We've got a little bit of legs underneath us. So again, when you're thinking about VP and you're thinking about trading the trader and all this kind of stuff, the important thing to understand is, yesterday. Here, let me show you. Make sure we get everything in. There we go. There we go, Nvidia. Let's get it. Where was fair value yesterday? If we were to look at just this, where was fair value yesterday? Anybody tell me? I don't know if you can see the numbers, right? But it's these big, thick white lines. That's why I've got them as big, thick white lines, right? This is where everybody was like, "Hey, look, fair value. I think this is where the most was traded." And so if I can bounce around this area, I want to give it a shot, right? Because people said yesterday, "Hey, they're just as valuable. I want to buy it," and they kind of held this area up a little bit. All right, great. Then I agree with you for today. Let's try it. Let's risk right these lows, but not get wicked out. Okay, done. Here, give me 1 second. I'm gonna take another partial on Nvidia. But um, that's your trigger name. That's funny, Patrick. So the goal here is, all right, how can we safely catch it around what we thought the value area was yesterday? We've done that. So I don't want to chase this. Be willing to buy towards the gap close, and then average down. Right. This think of it as buy, and then what I call the Efren stop loss. Right. It's like your last ad before you just really need to stop out. Bam. Now we're able to take out, sell, sell. Right. So all we've done is we've got a free trade now. Right. No matter what, I'm gonna be green on Nvidia. It's either going to work or I'm going to get trail stopped out. I'm going to make a little bit of money or I'm going to make a lot of money. So all we've done is we dug the ditch. Now, if it goes, we're in. I didn't have a buy stop order on CRM. Piss poor execution on my part, but there you go. That's the move. I'm not going to chase it. I missed the $2, but this is. Does everybody understand why I was willing to buy an open range breakout? Right, strong stock yesterday fits the play for software for what's happening. Like it's a go. Like you want to buy this breakout, you're going to be able to scalp out 3 points pretty quickly, and then have a free trade set up. There it goes. Anybody was smart enough to put in the buy order? Congrats for you. I'm an idiot. So, yeah, so PLTR is coming back into a profit level here again. Give me 1 sec. Talking about trying to sell 50 more options, and they're like, it's not in your account, and then I have to switch accounts. I forget. Um, boom. All right. So just on the options play for the LTR, took 100 options. Buck 36 to a buck 65 and a buck 94, right? So now free trade on PLTR too. We're good. We're golden. We've done everything we needed to do today to try to play a bounce on NVIDIA, on PLTR, and let's go. Let's go. It's Etsy moving this morning. Look at Etsy. This one, guys. If you're long term Etsy with me in this, it's going to take a while. Don't get too excited about these pops. Like we want this thing up here, right? But it's good to see, right? This is. I'm really stoked about this one. This is a really good value play, in my opinion. All right, Nvidia, PLTR. Man, trading so fun when you do it right, right? And to me, it's still fun when it stops you out. It's the execution and what I'm trying to do. I don't know if you guys remember last week. I told you trading became more of a hassle than fun for me. So my focus for my Substack sheet is, hey, the air is different up here. It's fun, and I'm flying, and you should enjoy that because not many other people can do what you're doing and have the ability to just sit at your home and press buttons and make money, right? I'm not in a freaking coal mine coming home covered in dirt. I'm very blessed to say the least. Good morning, Stephen. What's up? Uh, what are the targets for Etsy? Once I mark up my chart. Um, so let me explain something to you about targets for these long-term plays. So when I initially get into a stock for a long-term play, if I call it a long-term play, I'm targeting 100% minimum. So my entry down here at 40 on C, right? I'm targeting 80 minimum. Now, that's with the data that I've got with all the earnings reports right here, right? Um, as we get more data and earnings show that they're doing what they said that they were going to do, right? Where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we're executing on all fronts. That target can and will change. So when I tell you this target, what I'm looking for on Etsy, it doesn't mean that I'm going to dump everything once it hits that level, but I am going to sell some when it gets there. So first target on Etsy is 100. This is where we want it, right here. I think today Etsy is worth 100. I think with the things that they're doing, if they execute, it could be worth 125. What they add to this from here till when this happens, it may be worth 150 at that point. Does that make sense? So like on PayPal, when I'm buying down here into the 50s, yeah, my target is 100, but man, they've done really well, and yeah, I'm going to sell some at 100, but I'm sticking with PayPal. He's done extremely well. CRK is another example of one of those value plays where we hit that $14 at 100%, but to me, the fair value is closer to 25. So between 20 and 25. Now, if you want to include the untapped reserves, well, then you're closer to 30 to 40. I'm not including those, right? So, your valuations will change over time. Oh, thank you for that. Here, try it. Let's see. Test one, two, test, test. Okay, yeah, that's what it was. Okay. Yeah, I am. I'm getting some AMD. And to be honest with you, you know, I've talked one day with my buddy who's like my AMD buddy. He's a little emotional with AMD. It's kind of like it's his girlfriend, you know. So even when she starts gaining a little bit of weight, he's like, "Oh no, nah, she looks great." Um, but I'm like, "Nah, bro, you got to get her on the treadmill. We gotta run together, right?" He's like up here at 220. He's like, "I'm gonna buy it at 200." I'm like, "Why, dude? Like, wait." That's how he is, right? So he loves AMD. We'll put it that way. And I've been talking with him, and with his slant, of course, uh, and I agree with him. This is actually good for AMD. The fact that these people bypass CUDA. Do you guys know what CUDA is? Does everybody understand what CUDA is? CUDA CUDA is the language that NVIDIA's chips run. So that NVIDIA's trying to create a moat around their AI chips. PLTR. One second, guys. One second. One second. Almost at 100% on these options. Boom. All right. I took some more off of those options on PLTR, and I'm taking some shares off as well. But what the people for DeepSeek did is they actually bypassed CUDA. They said, screw you, you don't work good enough, and we're going to use. They didn't use the H100s, they used the H800s, and they said, we're gonna break this out into our language, and so you don't you that basically makes NVIDIA's moat worthless. And so now knowing that you can actually create these processes on chips that aren't as powerful as H100s and not use CUDA language, that's actually a very strong thing for AMD, right? Good job, guys. Nice job hitting these guys. Now, just one of the hardest things for me to learn when I was learning how to trade is, man, how come when I do it I lose, but when they do it it works? Well, we just remember. We have selective memory. This could have just have easily not worked, and we just stop out. We still did everything right. That as long as we do that, that's all that matters. Just do everything right, play it correctly, good to go. The percentages will pay out in the end. The one that I'm most upset about, I don't care if I'm scoring 50 today. I'm just mad that I didn't put in the obvious breakout on CRM. Like that's just free money, right? Think about it, $3. Let's say you buy 5,000 shares, or 1,000, or 100. Let's just say you buy 100 shares, right? That's $300. I could go get a steak today with my wife for lunch, and now I can't because I missed that $300. Um, Yeah, so here we go. Okay, yeah. So what's I guarantee you the SPY, the Q, all that's pulling back now, right? Yeah, okay. All right, so we had our gap up, our sell off, our washout. Now let's kind of see what we want to do today. Now, I've got a free trade. I'm comfortable where I am. But if you guys want to work on riding the wave, I'm not going to do this. But if it was me when I was learning how to trade and first trading, I would actually buy this again. I would buy it here again and do the exact same thing. Right? So it's like, let's see if we can start putting in something like this. My risk on this one would be higher though, right? I wouldn't. So I would buy here and risk here. If it double bottoms, I'd be out of it. You know, take it down to the double bottom. Hope that makes sense. Let's check PLTR. Are we up there yet? Yeah. So what PLTR is actually up and above its gap area, but it hasn't pulled back as far as Nvidia. Apple's still going. And on Apple, guys, if you're still in this from yesterday, like your biggest show you what I'm thinking. Your biggest VP level that I would be like saying, hey, this we could my dogs. Whew. Smells like Nate G in here now. Give me 1 second. Come on, guys. Guys, stay. Whew. I mean, what is it with dogs' gas? Like, why is it so potent? Jeez. Um, so on Apple, honestly, I think you can get to 242. Like, your next resistance level here is yeah 237, 238. You got some here, but ultimately, I think that this bounce could get you to that 232. I'm sorry, 242. You can see that that's kind of the biggest level. So the way that I would play this is I would start taking and get down to about I'd be down to about 50% here. If you wanted to do 40, that's fine, or 60, that's fine. But for me, this is where I would be saying, all right, I'm going to trail stop it for sure, but I still think that we can get 2 to 4 points out of this, and we've made a great pattern, and I would actually be willing to play it again if it gave some kind of cup and handle type pattern, right? So let's say it comes up here, you take off 25%, and then it comes back down. I'd actually add that 25% back and play this chart pattern until it gets up here to this level. That's major over under. We're starting to see a lot of Apple flow. Isn't it funny? Nobody wanted to buy Apple down here, but now check it out. Opinion follows price, right? So somebody bought 225, 2025, 516, 255 calls. They put in 2 mil. This is the same guy. So this guy put in 4.7 mil calls on Apple. No, this is the same guy here too. So and here and here and here. These are all the same. This is the same guy. So this is one person except for this one. Somebody just bought 8 million calls for May 16th. Somebody just dropped 8 mil. That's nice, right? You guys want to go drop 8 mil on some options for Apple? Yeah, who knows? It's probably a hedge fund. It's who knows what it is. Maybe it's Warren Buffett because they're going to show in their next report they bought more Apple, right? I guarantee you the people that created DeepSeek, I guarantee you that someone in their group was short Nvidia, and they made a bunch of money off that drop yesterday. I guarantee it. Like I'd be willing to bet millions of dollars on that. That's just the way the world works. So yeah, somebody's buying some Apple here. Yeah, for sure. I guarantee you. Oh, Carrie, that legit? Like we know that for sure? Exactly, Patrick. Exactly. You heard it on Fox? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, smart play. Good for him. Hey, if I was smart enough to create a competitor, and I knew it was going to bring it down, then I'd do the same thing. Okay. So for me, guys, I'm going to take a little break here. Does anybody have any questions they want me to look at? Any charts? Again, Netflix just came in, and it's right back to where it was. Guys, a lot of times these really big moves they take a while to consolidate after because what you're doing here. Somebody tell me what's currently happening with Netflix when it comes to a psychological standpoint, and what creates the pattern that we're going to see that comes out of this. Anybody tell me? And again, this is how I view things, um, how I trade, and what's happening is yes, Mark, there is profit taking 100%. But why isn't it going down, Mark? Why are we staying in this box? So yes, Mark, definitely people profit taking, but why are we staying here? Like if people are just selling, we're coming down, right? But what's happening? Yeah, so the demand for the stock is meeting what? It's meeting supply. And where's the supply coming from? Supply is coming from people taking profits. So what does that mean for all the new buyers up here? So how many of you guys have bought Netflix in this box? I have. I nailed it this day. I made so much money on Netflix on the second day. It was amazing. It was beautiful. I loved it. But guess what? If it starts getting down into this circle, what am I going to do? Right? If I still had any, I don't. I'm not in it. But what are you guys going to do if it comes down to this? Well, you guys are going to stop out. Why? Because your cost basis is now up here. You're no longer profit taking. So we're building a base of people where their cost basis is in this box. So if you get underneath them, they're going to be pissed, they're going to be sad, and it's going to go down. You start getting above them, they're going to be happy. We're going to continue the upward movement, right? And a lot of times, what happens with these is you get everybody and you get all the chasers, and you need just a little wick down to stop all those chasers out. And then all of a sudden, we've all been there. It's like, oh, here's my stop. Oh, it stopped me out. Oh, there it goes. Right? Dang it, they stopped me out. Right? Well, you guys are the weak hands causing the selling as it pushes up. Every time it pushes up, you're like, oh, thank goodness, let me sell some. Right? And then it comes back down. So I don't know if Nvidia is gonna, just shoot straight up. It's gonna do a failed breakdown. If it's gonna come down here and fill the gap. If it's gonna go up. We never know. But understand the psychology of what is happening is We're literally creating a new cost basis of people that have a cost basis in this area. And if they go above, we're happy. We can continue the movement. They'll buy again on a retest back down. If we go below, they're going to stop out. It's going to start a trend down. And if for whatever reason the demand matches the supply of this dump, we're going straight up because you've washed everybody out. Does that make sense? Right? This is just how I view trading and trading the trader versus, and that's what creates these patterns, right? That we call it's actually human psychology. That's all it is. Okay, so if you're in PLTR, guys, again, the idea here is to take this up to here. So I will be out of 70 to 80% of this on PLTR as we hit these levels. You know, these options are now, yeah, we're right at 100%. So we'll easily be over 100% if we hit that we hit that level. Okay, here let me check the APP. Oh, VFC new target. Yeah, so VFC they hit our 26 target, right? So we've taken out 100% on the $13 buys. We took out 100% on the 11s buys, 12s. So I kind of what I talked about this morning. I think VFC, like I'm still holding runners, but I'm out of a lot of VFC. I need to see VFC's earnings reports again to continue the price movement up. They have been doing exactly what they've needed to do in this box. Like the CEO is killing it, he's crushing it, and I could easily say 30 can be a fair value of this now, but I need to see this earnings report. So that's going to come out this week, right? So when we see VFC's earnings report tomorrow, we can take a better. We'll have a better take on it because we'll have more information. Does that make sense? Which is another way of me saying, yeah, I've sold a lot into this. We've nailed it, and I've got a free trade on now. And if they crush it and it's worth 35 now, I'm still holding. If they don't crush it and it comes back down to 20, I'm fine. I'm still up 100% on this thing. So do you guys see that I do the exact same thing on every single time frame, on every single play? Like I'm always trying to calm that lizard brain, be it a long-term play, be it a 1 minute play, no matter what it is, I'm always doing the same thing. I'm managing that fear. Yeah, I've got I bought a little island off the coast of Florida over there, you know. So now profits don't matter. Okay, another profit target on Nvidia, guys, is going to be right at this blue line. Blue line is open print price. That usually gets a a little defense on it, right? They defend it a little bit. Wasn't too much. My dogs keep opening the door and coming back in here. AWS is a big winner of this as well. So the winners, in my opinion, Apple, probably the best winner. Um, the guy that wrote that article disagrees. He thinks Meta is, but Amazon is as well. You know, the softwares are winners. Okay, APP. Yeah, let's look at APP. I mean, this chart's picture perfect, guys. The only thing I can say about this chart is when when Nate talks about that woodpecker type pattern, this is what he's talking about. You see the big pop up, the consolidation sideways. You don't want this consolidation sideways to be too long. But yeah, I mean, this chart looks great. Are the options expensive? Yeah. So, I mean, it is a $350 option. So, look at CRM. So frustrating. We had this one teed up and ready. It's 10 points. Just think about that. 100 shares, freaking $1,000. I could have paid for my wife's nail salon trip right there. Yeah, I should have got it yesterday for sure, but I can't fault myself for that because I just didn't see it right. I wasn't as aggressive yesterday, but this one I should have hit. Okay, CEG. So CEG is one of the energy companies that got hit. Right, they're running deals with like Amazon and stuff like that. I do think this is an overreaction to what is happening, but I also think this was an overreaction to what was happening already. So um, I'm less likely to buy these dips, but I do personally think from a charting perspective that you will also get a bounce out of these. You know, are they going to come from lower Bollinger Band outside? I don't know. I don't know where they're going to come from, but VST is already getting some strength today. That's nice. Maybe we'll play this one tomorrow. But yeah, I think you will get bounces out of these. I'm just less likely to play them. I'd probably play VST overseas over. Okay, so that Apple trade, guys, from yesterday, it's into the zone. All right, we nailed it. So for me, again, you do that. You guys do whatever you want. But I'm cutting everything down to 50% on Apple. Like if I started with 10 shares, I'll be at five. If I started with 1,000, I'll be at 500. Man, I love it. I love a buy the dip. I love a buy the dip opportunity, right? I just uh I just chickened out on Reddit. Like I was trying to keep to the rules of the 15 minute, and we were supposed to stop out, but I had the opportunity to buy the daily right here, and I chickened out. Fear was controlling me at that point, right? I needed to stay safe. LTO, here we go, baby. We'll get it ripped, baby. Get it ripped. We're at our targets, guys. That's it. The LTR trade done. Take it and run. So what I'm going to do on this PLTR trade, I'm going to leave 10%. So we took it from 130 to 330, right? Boom. Boom shakalaka. Now I'm not going to tell you the answer to this. This is something for you guys to think about. Can you guys tell me the reason why I jumped on PLTR so soon? Right? That's your homework. What made me jump on PLTR this morning? Why why was I all over it? Okay, I got to take a break, guys. Again, fun opening hour. This is how I'm supposed to trade. This is how I normally trade. And this is how I have to trade, even when I'm trading the smaller accounts. I'm gonna throw up Nate's screen, and I'll be back uh, before Nate jumps on. And I was gonna do a training today. I'm gonna try to get a time for you guys. I'm not the greatest with schedules, but usually I can keep to a schedule if I schedule it for that day. Um, so what I'm gonna do is I'd like to do a training on setting up proper time frames. Like you guys have seen me do this on the 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 4 minute, 5 minutes, a ton. I do it every day. It's harder to do it over time when you have 15 hourly 78s. So, excuse me. So what I'd like to do the training on is using the same idea for time frames for a swing trade. Um, you know, so we can go out and we can see the VPs on the different time frames, monthly, weekly, daily, hourly, looking for the entries, understanding, hey, the daily may be giving a bearish signal, the weekly may be giving a positive signal to buy, the monthly may be giving a bearish, and how you kind of mix it all together and play it, combine all time frames together to make your to make your thesis and what you should do. Does that make sense? Oh, that makes sense. And I think that will be a great use for training. Um, and so that will be, let's see. Hey, good job, Coach Rogers. What I'll tell you, Coach Rogers, is I can't tell you what's right or what's wrong. But going from down 8K to up 3K, if that was a rush, maybe you're trading too big. Maybe you should maybe only go down 4K and get up 1,500 next time, and then that'll allow you to keep some runners, right? Um, let's shoot for lunch, guys. Let's shoot for lunch for the training. 12 o'clock. Yeah, it is. Pan W. So I don't, Vizsla, are you in this from down here where we bought it down here? When we were buying it down here, this is literally right here, right now is the target. We're hitting that level. Um, so again, I'm going to be selling some into this. You don't want this to just chew right up to 202. You want some consolidation in between here, basically 195, 198 area. So for me, what that means is I wouldn't buy Pan W here. I'm a seller of Pan W here until there's some consolidation. Um, but this is the target. Like we're so here. What and again, I'll show you when we have the training. But this is a perfect example of combining everything together, right? So we were playing like a 1 minute chart down here, trying to scalp out positions that allow us to stay safe, take it back up into here, and the ultimate goal here, we need to zoom in to the group above us to figure out where the chunk of these people are to have a proper, like this is it. I can tell by looking at it. We're right on it. So your first group, right? Your first big group of people is going to be here. This would be the sell order, right? That would be the ultimate target for that. And then you want some consolidation around this level to allow you to come back up here to this guy. And then you've got a little bit of right here. So on Pan W, what we want to see is some consolidation into this first little area, a break up above 195. You know, maybe you get to 197.50, maybe you get to 200, and then if we can play like a hour squeeze or 78-minute squeeze somewhere in here above this VP, or at least above the lower end of the VP, even if it comes down into here, something like that, right? Then we're gonna jump all over that, right? That's golden. So we've done the 1 minute, 5 minute play down here. We took some profits. Now we've taken it to the longer term daily time frame, and now we're waiting for another setup on the medium time frame to take another shot. Okay, I'll be back in an hour and a half, guys. Wait, is Nate getting on today? Let me check, make sure Nate G's not getting on. Hey G, are you here? Can I look at QQQ? Yeah. What do you want me to look at on QQQ? What's the what are we trying to discern here by looking at the QQQ? We broke highs, so we should be able to get into this gap, right? All we're doing here is retesting. Ultimately, this needs to hold today's closest VP to maintain the breakout. If you start getting below today's closest VP, which is right here, right, you start getting below this open print price, that's where you're starting to look for a head and shoulders type pattern off of this failed breakout. Otherwise, it's still fine. And if you do break down into this head and shoulders type pattern, you will for sure come back into this VP zone, and that's where you'll start to look for a bottom. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't do that again. I didn't full screen it. All right, let's do it again. So on the QQQs, this is a breakout right here. It's simply retesting, right? And to be fair, the retest could actually, I mean, you could come back down to this group of people, which is the closest VP level. You want to hold these. Get down here to this level, you're probably going to have something like that. Break down that, you're going to come back into this area and try to hold it again. Otherwise, if you're holding up here, it's a go. Like you're good. Fine. Okay, we'll record the trade for sure. Okay. All right, guys. I'm gonna switch it over. I will talk to you guys later. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna take a break, but we can chat. What's up?
Talk to you.
Nah.
I don't mean to take the fun out of you.
Yeah,
Just when I totally missed when you said I'm gonna take option number. Um, so if I had your tape, I could replay it in my head and start building new uh, connections in my brain.
so
I know you said it, it just didn't.
yeah, I'm trying to remember where did I say that?
I actually probably have you have transcripts. But no, that was just that was an example. I don't want to add pressure.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
It's okay. Like that was the one. Second thing is I left you.
Let's see the time. 9:45.
Which
So it was right here. I'll take that sucker. Yeah, 9:45, 10, 9:45, 13, 14. That was the timing. Okay, so here it's there was a well, there's a kitchen. Okay.
the longer message.
No, no, do it right now. I go outside. The wife's just gonna ask me to do something. So yeah, I thought that. Hey, everyone let me off. It was funny yesterday. We were in a not yesterday, 2 days ago. Anyway, sometimes this past week we were in a Mexican restaurant. He's like, we know the owner. Talked to him. They're from El Salvador. He's like, they're not even Mexican. They're from El Salvador. And I said, that's the same thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably say what's the difference?
It's the same thing. I mean, come on, it's south of Texas. You know, she's like, no, it's completely different. They have different food. I'm like, what? Like what? Like tacos? And she's like, well, no, it's pupusas. And I was like, well, what's a pupusa? A taco that's with a fluffed tortilla and stuff inside? Woohoo! Yeah. So I'll give it a hard time. You know, being the ignorant American, calling everybody south of Texas. I said everything from Texas down to Colombia is called Mexico.
It's gonna be soon called the Gulf of Panama.
Yeah, exactly. But what was funny is she started arguing with me about where Colombia was. He's like, Colombia's not the first one there. No, they're more to the east. And I'm like, no, I'm much more traveled than you are. I know the cities. Yeah. Okay, so is the on first bounce, second bounce pictures, Efren, is is the yellow box the same, or did you move the yellow box? It looks like you
I,
moved the yellow box up.
yeah, I did. I should have left the same yellow
That's okay.
ball.
Okay. I just want to make sure I'm reading it correctly. All right. So what you're doing on that first, something to understand about that second bounce tip, it's a little bit different. Um, because you've actually got a little bit of support underneath that box, that yellow box on your second picture. You understand why?
Well, yes, because you have a bit of a consolidation there. So my question there was, are you looking for the purple box, which is further away, or are you looking for the yellow box? I know you're going to say yes. But which one
But,
provide
hold on a sec. So when you're looking at the third picture, am I looking at the purple box for the bounce or the yellow box for the bounce on sec- the second bounce? Is that what you're saying? So like, is the box from the purple or the yellow? Is that what you're asking on this?
right? Like, is it more relevant that from a price perspective is closest, from a date perspective, like on that second screen, like the purple box is further away in terms of time, but it's going to be the first people that is going to.
Yeah, but understand what happens. This is what we talked about yesterday. What what happens with what happens with those purple people now that we've gone above them?
So they're gone.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're not really that
right,
important anymore because they were the resistance, right?
and we just went right past.
Yeah, so we just chewed right through them. So anybody that's going to stop out has stopped out, right? Anybody that bought there back to break even, they're not going to be like, oh, finally I'm up 10 cents. Let me sell this after being down $5, and then I'll buy it back when it comes back into my zone. That's just not going to happen. But people that are in the yellow box will. So like if I'm trading that, I'm like, all right, okay, we're breaking out here. Let me take a partial. Oh, look, we come right back in. Yeah, let's buy this. So the purple box in the second picture is resistance, and once we're through, it's like, yeah, I understand that there could be value here. It could be a support line, but the main play is that yellow box. Those are the people that the most recent people that we got to keep happy. Now, the key to this is what makes this one hard is that yellow box. You could argue that it goes down to the consolidation period that you've got. Let's see. And again, I don't know if this is yeah, yeah. I mean, you can argue all the way down to that low, right? Um, you know, break it apart, make it two zones, whatever you want it to do, it's fine. But the chart isn't broken until you start getting underneath there. So, like for me, is the third bounce the same day?
Yeah, they're all yesterday.
Okay. So if we would have done something like put it in your channel, if we would have done something like this, so my green lines, so like we broke up, we hit that point, that yellow box. I wouldn't have bought off the top side of that yellow box. I would have bought middle to value area low of that yellow box because that lines up with the breakout for the day. That's your main, you know, level. And so at that point, when it's doing this, what you don't know is are we going to keep this trend up, right? For the if you take the open to the low of the box to the low of the right shoulder area, got that trend up, or is it going to break down and do something like that? So if you were to come into that lower area, which was the open consolidation period after creating a head and shoulders, right? Like, yeah, you got people trapped, but the chart isn't necessarily broken for the day. What would most likely happen is you would have some type of pattern develop against this, be it a double bottom and or failed breakdown. You could still technically bounce. And these are all the if ands that we're going through. If it were to perform that head and shoulders type pattern, I would be less inclined to start getting aggressive because it's until we get enough people underneath us to outnumber the people above us. Does that make sense? Okay, so third bounce as we consolidate. One can make the case here that we are in a slight downward channel. We are trading against the people in the left purple box. Yep. Case would be if we lose this low box further. Yeah, so on this third bounce, this was yesterday. So there's an important step here that I want you to see. Picture was similar. Actually, it may even be cleaner on each So when you're looking for a bounce and we're looking for those A plus setups and it's like, all right, yeah, let's go. And it's exactly what we did on the FTR and all these this morning is we won't be heading further down. There's no step to provide support. If we break to the top, we should at least be getting to develop the top part of the green circle. It depends on where you call your top. So in reality, you got two zones here, and you can see that little bit of extra VP that I put zone and drew an arrow to. So you've got your purple blocks, but above your purple box, directly to the left, you're actually going to hit those people. It's going to be the 195 area. You know, you got 194.50 to 194.75, 195 area, right? And what does that equal on the technical analysis level? If we're just looking at that on the technical analysis level, what would that be?
Coming to well, you will be breaking out, right? That's consolidation,
Yep.
and you're hitting distance on that second part, right? That I didn't put in my chart.
Yeah. Yeah. And ultimately, call it whatever you want. Call it double top. Call it a cup and handle. Call it a. What's happened is, and this is what I'm always talking about, of saying you need to reclaim a volume profile level. So what's happened on Google is if we can get and break out of this purple box, your target should be 195 because that's going to be your double top area. And then you're going to look for a cup and handle. You're going to look for a little U. You're going to look for an ascending triangle that has that little third hit down, whatever pattern it takes. You're going to hit these people. You've got the people below you now, right? So you're trying to actually reclaim the VP above you with a base beneath you. So a push up to 195 at this point, that's a sell. You should sell some of that. But it's also an extremely great buy on the handle because you've got the people beneath you. So it's really important to understand that these people are there. You're not just going to double top all the way to the high of day. You're going to double top, and this is where you start making the new highs, right? So it's a higher high in comparison to if you break out of that purple box, it's a higher high in comparison to the 12, 12:30, 1 o'clock consolidation. And then there's going to be another high maybe between 11:30 and 12, right? And the next high is going to be 196.39. So you're going to have a little bit there. And then you got the high day. Well, when does it become the path of least resistance? Well, it becomes the path of least resistance when you hit that 195, reject, and then hold the handle. That's when it becomes path of least resistance. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and from a risk reward perspective, because if you see it as a single trade, like that third bounce as one trade, your take profit is the 195 level.
Yeah.
If you're buying it in the purple box.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because that's resistance. So you'd want to take some off at that resistance level because you never know if it gets to the resistance levels or not. When they're tight and there's heaviness on both sides here, like who's going to win? I don't know. It's kind of a 50-50, 60-40. It's going back and forth. It's like who's going to? We don't know. But if we get above 195, if we can hit that 195, reject and get above it, that's like a boxer landing a big shot and they start wobbling. So who are you going to bet on? If you could bet, are you going to bet on the boxer that just landed a big punch and the guy's starting to wobble? What are the odds that he wins? Well, they go up dramatically. And that's literally what's happening here. The Bulls are like, bam, I just landed a hit. It's not, we're going back to high day. That boxer's going down. They just landed a shot. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so I'm just going through the scenario in my head because it did break that little consolidation, but didn't, it actually couldn't break.
Yeah, yeah. It could. It never created.
We don't have enough right? Like
Yeah,
I'm going.
yeah. It never created. It never gave us that opportunity to say we got a chance. This is what we call like all day faders. They run and they push out in the morning and then they just fade all day. They just never have a chance. It's the same thing Netflix did that day I didn't trade. It's like it was just so all pops were just sold into it. It's just so it's like the Bulls never had a shot. Does that mean that you shouldn't have taken shots at the support levels? No, no. Like yeah, definitely. I for sure, if I was looking at Google and thinking Google may push and whatever, I for sure would have absolutely played right here. Off these guys for sure. I probably would have played in this zone. This is probably I probably would have done this. So I probably would have said, all right, yeah, let's grab it somewhere around 194 to 194.50, playing this zone area and saying, but if it breaks below this morning's, which if we were to look at that up close, 193 is that level. So yeah, so these are those slow killers. These what makes them so hard. Like it never really cracked 193. Like all right, well let's just freaking play it all day and be bored as hell. And hey, it's trying, and then this would have stopped me out. 193. You know, if time didn't stop me out, that this breakdown would stop me out. But for fourth bounce number 4, you're using yeah. This one's hard. So
You're right into that gap, right?
yeah,
That never really filled.
yeah,
When you have a consolidation on the top now, because it gapped up that day, nobody really went against the people on that consolidation.
yep, yeah. This is one of those where it's they're literally washing everybody out. And as a technical trader, you're gonna miss these. You shouldn't buy here. If you're trying to buy a double bottom and you're like, look, I'm sold on this being an overreaction. I think this is going to be a failed breakdown. Great, go for it. That's kind of what we did today on was it video? Like, all right, yeah, I think we're going to bounce. I think we're going to get a bounce. Yeah, they're probably going to wash everybody out. I get it. There's no way in heck I'm buying this right here. Like for me, yesterday, like no way. Buying it this morning, saying, you know what, let's buy it as an open range breakout, buy a gap close. Yeah, maybe a gap close or something like that, risking the lows. Again, they just cleared the lows barely, right? So buying it in this box, there's no way in a heck I would have bought this. Buying
And
it,
that's a tough part, right? Like, technically, sense, but it bounced off.
yep. This would have been the next level to buy right here. So what these are where all my edges come from, Efren. It's like, hey, how could I have captured that? Well, I can't capture this with just plain BP or technical analysis with broke lows. What allows me to capture this now? Okay, well we're opening. Maybe it's a little bit overreaction. We got a little gap up. Well, shoot, I can buy this pullback into this zone because we're playing yesterday's people, right? Risk the lows, give it. Don't get wicked out, and or buying this open range break, knowing that the main VP is right here. So instead of buying the open range break at 195, 193.35, I'd probably wait to 195.55 and then I'd buy it. And then I'd sell a portion at exactly where we talked about yesterday up here, right? Because we know that that's going to reject. So literally you're getting today what we wanted yesterday, right? So here's your high point that we're like, all right, you're probably going to reject off these people. You're probably going to get a pullback. This is the golden opportunity right here.
So, sorry, before we move yesterday, that last bit, right? Pull up TC 2000 and go back to there is a VP untouched. Saying you would never actually buy it there.
No. Yeah, what you're doing here is the VP zone is right here. These are the people. So think of it as like a W, and you're buying that neckline of this W, which is fine. If there wasn't a gap here, I get it. Sure, great, go for it. I'm not buying in the middle of this gap. You're supposed to come down here. If you reach that point, you should close the gap.
Gap supersedes VP.
Sometimes, not always. Okay?
But why does it?
Because it's close enough. Uh, gaps that are further away, they're not as important. Um,
Further away in terms of time.
yeah, yeah. So I'm more likely to I'm more likely to buy a gap. Probably still wouldn't do it, but I'm more likely to buy a gap here of this VP than here of that VP. Time, weight. You're literally talking about what's it? A few hours of consolidation here, right? Versus a few days of consolidation here. And so that's the best that I can quantify it as of now. Okay.
Okay.
How do you know when the bottom is in? When do you know a certain level has the highest likelihood of a bounce, hence low the boat? You understand that now? Like,
So, but hold on a second. So there are times this is combined with discussion. There are times when you buy the bounce on the V,
yes,
and it's all gonna have to do with here. Let me see if I can. If I can bounce it when you're coming into major VP area, because the likelihood of bouncing it off that area is higher. And you look for a reversal pattern if you don't have enough legs underneath you. So the reversal pattern is actually give you enough volume to have the length on the T to create a good support, and that is your risk to reward.
correct. It makes it safer. And then the other thing to add into that is distance traveled and speed. So there may be an opportunity where there's not a major VP, it's a minor VP, but we've gone down so far so fast that we're at a third and fourth standard deviation. So the odds of a bounce back, e.g., Apple, are extremely high. So I think what we should do is if you can highlight these questions, like just bring them out, copy paste them for me, and I'll print them out, put them right next to me, and while I'm playing tomorrow, I'll go through these, and I'll be like, all right, this is the spot, right? Like on PLTR, we're like, all right, Here's your, hey, we gotta, this is it. We gotta, we gotta hold this level. We start breaking below this level, it's gonna probably gonna be hard. All right, well, how do you know it's a good trade? How do you know, hey, let's load the boat right there? Understanding that this is a separate trade that I was trying to set up over here. So I wasn't sure when this was going to break. I knew the break was coming. Is it going to be now? Do they need to wash people out? What do they need to do? Just try to set it up. No, let's stop out of that. Let's re-hit it down here. Now we've got it. Now let's load the boat. This spot and this spot. Well, why? What is common of these? What's the common theme of these two spots? No, risk is tight, right? So the common theme here is I'm tight on risk. I'm tight on risk, like super tight. I can load the boat. The odds of it going higher are higher up here than here. So which one's the better trade?
Wait, but based on your lack concept of time and space,
Uh-huh.
uh, seeing how quickly, how fast, how deep, wouldn't your odds be higher that second one? The bottom one,
Yeah,
right?
that's a great question. Did we go far enough away? Don't you have standard deviations on your chart? I'm going to tell you the answer is no. Are we getting close to it? I would say it would be closer to 73-20. Maybe I may be off a little bit, but that's where I would guess it'd be 73-20 to 73-50.
Down.
Yeah. So, is there a way to change this is the first hour. In the first hour, the movement is different. Um, things can move drastically a lot more on the first hour than they can throughout the day. So just to
Right.
give you an example, if we were to draw this line here, here, that's the movement, and it took 1, 2, 3. It took 4 minutes for that to do that right now. What do you think has to happen?
Um,
There's got to be
within
news.
that time period?
There's got to be news that causes that. It's not going to happen without news. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so now you consider the actual timing of the day to measure the
Yeah.
time and distance.
Yeah. It's the first hour, right? So we always got to keep adding these little nuggets, and this is what makes trading so hard. It's like, yeah, okay, sure. On a normal time frame, no, no, it's just it's not. You're still within it. You're still within the range, like very playable range. You start getting down, like I would have stopped out, but then if it would have come down to like right here in the next couple minutes, I've been like, all right, maybe it's time to take another shot because this is getting ridiculous. It's going to bounce and it's going to snap back. Even if it doesn't break out today, it's gonna get that yin to the yang because of the deviations.
This is like the art side of it.
Yep, yep. It's always a new.
And to say, you know what, this is the level by here. That's gonna have to do
Yeah,
with space.
100%. And that's when we're looking at daily charts, the 78-minute charts, you can do that a lot more often because excuse me, because you're playing against like a lot more structure. Um, But the thing that I want you to pay attention to here, this pullback, the lowest the RSI got was 32. I mean, the RSI is at 30, you know, 38 here. Like it's not, this isn't that big of a deal of it dropping. Like this move is more. This move is way more than what this move was, simply because of the time of day. Even though it's not as long, right?
I understand what you mean. That's why I'm laughing. Like from the perspective, it's not.
Yeah, yeah,
Like relatively speaking,
yeah. It's like once you start putting everything together, it's like, wow, that was a pretty drastic move for the time and day and what's going on and all that. And can you tell me why this is such a drastic move? Like what happened? Why did we have such a drastic move here? The reason we had such a drastic move here is because we got the Bulls all happy and excited and titillated, and they started getting excited, and they're like, "Oh yeah, here we go, let's go, we're gonna break out, we're gonna go back. Ah, screw you guys, we're gonna dump on them." And so they're buying, and they're like, "Oh look, new high. Oh look, new high." Just kidding. Oh crap, I gotta stop out. I gotta stop out. I gotta stop out. I gotta stop out. Everybody stops out. There's your low, right? Like they understand that as we break down, the odds of it coming back and breaking out above these levels are extremely low for the time of day that we're at. Today, when we're buying down here, the odds of it bouncing back and coming back here are still extremely high. If it was 12 o'clock, right, and we went from we're consolidating, we broke down like this, it's like, yeah, it's something, yeah, that's it's completely different. It's a completely different chart.
that's why you love playing the.
Yep. First hour is my favorite time. First hour and last hour are number one and number two. And then throughout the day, it's like, again, this is just the way my brain works. Like, it's so boring. I got to preoccupy myself. I've got to either be digging into a company, playing a game. Otherwise, I just get bored. It's like, ugh.
This was awesome.
It's recorded too.
Being aggressive will find it out there.
Teamwork, baby. Teamwork makes the dream work. All right, here I didn't. Let me see. Somebody asked, so what are you saying? Oh, gotcha. Yeah. So the way I see this, right? Like when you think about an inside day, I love this consolidation video. I hope we don't break out or break down today because what kind of edge can I play tomorrow on Nvidia if we do that with what's happened already today? What will I be doing? And then what does it mean psychologically about what should happen on your if then statements? Yeah, yeah, exactly. So something I don't know if you guys, I told that people yesterday that there's people that I know are going to be successful, and there's people that I know that can't be successful. And I tell each of them, like I'll say, look, you just need to invest, or I'll say you can do this. And Efren is just one that I know he will be extremely successful because he gets it. He does the work. He asks the questions. He understands it. He makes sure that he understands it, and he makes my life a living hell to make sure that he does. Right, and that's a good thing. Right. That's it. That's how you do it. I'm that guy too. Like my mentors, man, basketball. I'd always ask the guys better than me. Let's go. We're gonna play 1-on-1. But nobody answered the question on NVIDIA. What's the pattern that I can play tomorrow if we kind of consolidate around these areas? Anyone know? By looking at these candles. Exactly, Russ. It's a red strat. Yep. Right. So we'll come in here and we'll look and we'll be like, all right, look, oh, consolidation, breakdown, oh, breaking up, oh, look, oh, right. And what is this all this mean? It doesn't matter what pattern it is. We've got a good base here, right? That we just created that allows us the opportunity to buy and use these people as risk. Like, let's go. I love this box area. I love we've set it up. We've already broken the low, stopped everybody out. Let's go. Now, do they need to do it again? Maybe they need to do it again before it turns. I don't know, but I'm giving it a shot. Woodpeckers always. One of the interesting things about today though is check out the equal weighted. So equal weighted did great yesterday, right? We're kind of chopping around and struggling today. And well, why is the spy doing good today? Well, all right, guys. Anybody else have any questions for me? Why stop the recording and jump off? I'll upload this recording when I get back.